Hey, Mikey,
I got you.
I just had a really good idea. Can we like redo the Friends opening with
That was
violence,
what I
but like,
originally wanted to do. I
but
wanted
like
to do
with
something like
balloons?
Cheers or Friends.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to episode 16 of the True Shot Guest Spot Podcast. I am Richard, and in this episode, we actually had Adam join in with us, and we have Mikey and Paul from the Gloom in the Corner, the Australian concept metalcore outfit. I mean, this was an awesome podcast. Lots of really, really nice dudes. We talked about a bunch of stuff from, the Gloom in the Corner, their lore and their story arc. We talked about kind of like their like how they write the songs. So I know that Mikey, which you'll find out in the podcast, handles about 90-ish% of the writing for the band. And they also leaked the date to their third single. So if you want to know when that is, listen up for that. I will let you guys know there is like a slight, I don't know what it is. It's like a double layered audio. When I'm here editing it, I noticed that. So it lasts for about 15 minutes or so. It's not bad, though. It's not like an echo, which is good because echoes are extremely annoying. But anyways, guys, here we have it. Mikey and Paul from The Gloom in the Corner.
They call me Sherlock Bones. Hell to the devil's throne.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 16th edition of the True Shot Guest Spot Podcast. And joining us today, we got Mikey and Paul from The Gloom in the Corner. What's going on, guys?
Oh, not much, man. How are you guys?
Doing
Whoa,
good.
these guys are from Australia?
They are. They're not.
Oh,
yeah,
all
they,
right.
they're from.
Oh.
Well, you couldn't tell by the accent.
It was
Yeah,
kinda,
g'day.
yeah,
Yeah, a funny accent. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I.
Someone asked me the other day if I was actually American because of my accent, and I'm like, "Cunt, what?"
Really?
Well, it's funny. I thought I talked to
Yeah.
you guys on the phone the other day, but it was just I called Outback Steakhouse, and there was a recording on the other end. I thought it was one of you guys, but I wasn't sure. But
Yeah, no, it happens. It happens.
yeah. But no, guys, I'm pumped to have you on. I know that for the people who watch our podcast consistently, they'll see that Adam is finally back on the podcast.
Yeah.
So he had to make a special appearance for this one.
I did.
Because we've done 2 reactions to you guys. But before we get into all of that, why don't you guys, I know I already introduced you, but why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell the people at home who you are? We'll start with you, Mike.
You first.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh
first,
shit.
Mikey.
So I'm Mikey. I write 90% of everything for Gloom. I'm also the vocalist and lyricist.
Okay.
I also have a ghost in the background. Apparently, I don't know where it's come from. Maybe that's the Gloom.
Could be.
It's in the corner, so
But
it
yeah.
fits.
Special guest. I'm the main songwriter and lyricist in the band.
I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah. So all right, and now this other gentleman over here with the crowbar mustache. Go for it.
Thank you very much. I am Paul. I am the bassist or the big guitar in Gloom. I make everything sound fat and heavy, and I just try to bring a bit of ignorance and caveman mentality to the band.
Personality.
That's all I Yeah.
Personality. There you
It
go.
seems like a bassist trait. It's like they always identify with the caveman because they're just smacking the strings.
I want to bring that IQ down a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I write all the technical stuff, and then Paul comes in and dumbs it down.
Yeah. He's like, the time signatures on this are just too wacky. Let's just tone it down a bit for the metalcore kids out there. But, so I'm happy to be talking to you guys. I know that this time difference, I don't get how there is a 15-hour time difference. It makes no sense to me because I thought the Earth was flat.
I was trying to explain.
So,
oh, you're one of the flat earthers, huh?
I thought the Earth was flat, so I don't know how there's a 15-hour time difference.
Earth is flat.
It used to
Earth
be
is flat.
14.
No
It used
one's
to be
seen the
14.
curve.
Yeah, I don't
It
even know
used to be
how
14, but yeah.
I don't even know how 14's possible because I thought that 12 was like the max time difference you could have. But
No, it has to do with the access that we're on, man.
Okay, the meteorologist over here.
They do weather.
No.
Whatever.
Earth is flat, boys. The Earth is flat. Nobody's seen the curve. It's all a conspiracy, man.
Oh boy, these headlines on Metal Injection after this are gonna be, Gloom in the corner are flat earthers. But
no,
man.
Paul.
No,
Sus, Paul.
Just me. Just me.
After a recent episode of the TrueShot guest spot, Paul is no longer in the band anymore after Flat Earth
conspiracy theories.
But yeah, guys, no, listen, I'm pumped to be talking to you because on our channel, so obviously people who are going to be watching this will know that we also do reactions as well as we are a band, and we've done 2 reactions to you guys as a music. I think we did I know we did Warfare, and then how do you pronounce? Is it misanthropic or misanthropic? I always.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
I fucked up. I say it as misanthropic in the song, but it's meant to be pronounced misanthropic.
Okay, because I said misanthropic in our video, and somebody was like, "That's not how you say it." And I'm like, I was almost positive that's how
you
you
were
say
right.
it. Okay.
You were right.
Well,
we fucked up.
Just chalk it up to the Australia, like Polaris, that kind of thing. Misanthropic, misanthropic. So there you go.
It also it's also just what ended up rolling off better off the tongue, like in the song. So like if you say it as misanthropic in the song, it just sounds weird.
Yeah.
So
hey, tomato, potato, it don't matter. But yeah, man. So I gotta say, the 2 songs that we have checked out on the channel. I remember when we first did Misanthropic, and I was just like, I was legitimately blown away because that was my introduction to your band, and I remember like the rapping style vocal. I love that kind of thing.
See, that's where I didn't enjoy it.
I watched yours.
Yeah, I did not enjoy it. Hey, you know what? I gotta say this too because I get roasted when I say like Periphery is a band. I don't know if you guys like Periphery. I've met Mark, I've been to one of his clinics, all great musicians. I just can't get into it. And people just say I'm snobby. Like, yeah, it's one of those things. And rapping, I fantastic talent. Like I can't do it. I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah, let's just say that we're working on a song right now where I kind of wanted to do like a little rap section, and I'm like, I gotta like these freaking geriatrics over here. I'm like, there was no rapping back in our day, so god dang it, Sonny ain't gonna start now.
There's no rapping in Pantera.
Yeah. They're like,
See, like I remember watching the reaction. I remember you, Adam, being quite off it just because of like all the rapping and the new metal techniques, and then you said that you grew up listening to like a lot of Metallica and 80s and like Pantera and stuff like that, and I'm like, that makes sense because you kind of missed like that generation that did get into new metal.
Don't let him get off the hook, Mikey. Don't let him get off the hook.
No, it's one of those things like the same complaints that Adam has been like dislikes about Miso that I had heard before, and so I wasn't offended by it or anything. I'm just like, yeah, it's just. It is what it is.
Yeah, but yeah. I grew up listening to that, but I was at the Family Values tour, you know what I mean? In what is it, 97, 98, 99, I don't remember what they did it, but, so I listened to Korn and Limp Bizkit and stuff like that, but I wasn't, like, heavy into it, so I can appreciate some of it. It's just not something I gravitate towards.
Yeah,
no, that's fair.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love it just because I think it adds. Because my introduction to metal was, Slipknot, like their first album, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, that kind of stuff. So, and now, I mean, today my favorite band today is Amur. So, I mean, they're essentially, a culmination of all of that new metal stuff, just amplified and heavier. But no, because I mean, the Australian scene. I remember when we first reacted to you. Because I'm a big fan of Alpha Wolf, Polaris, we've had Thornhill on the channel, we just had all these different kind of bands on the channel, and it was just like, I don't understand what's going on in Australia, but I mean, like,
owning the metalcore scene.
I mean, seriously, but are we only exposed to the good bands? Are there a lot of shitty bands that we don't know about?
Nah, like the majority of the scene, even on the smaller level, there's just some like absolutely great things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, more or less what Paul said. I think that there is a lot of great talent here in, specifically Melbourne, but there's great talent like all around the country. But what you're mainly exposed to, you know, Alpha Wolf, like Polaris, Thornhill, like they're kind of like the top tier per se.
Okay.
And even though there is like a lot of really good like low level bands like our friends in Starved, our friends in Vatic, you know, there is still like, you know, like there is still the lesser good
there's
acts
still
in
the
my opinion. But
locals.
that's the
Okay,
same with
yeah.
everybody. That's the same with every scene, pretty much.
There's still those local Okay, all right. So we're
Yeah.
kind of being like these bands are kind of the equivalent to us, like you know, from an Australian level is kind of like an August Burns Red, but from like the Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So like
Gotcha.
okay, I gotcha. Yeah, because I mean, so yeah, we did Misanthropic, and then I've listened to the full Flesh and Bones EP. But the problem, like I tell this with all of our guests, is that with us doing the channel that we do, we have to be kind of careful in terms of what we listen to, only because we might get requests to do them later down the line.
Right.
So I haven't gone back and listened to your older material.
Same.
But
Good.
I've listened to good. Well, hold on. I did see that you had like one song off your first record that was like 8 minutes, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
He was
Oh yeah, that'd be
proggy.
Walk. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that'd
was.
be Walk.
I mean, that was just like, dude. Any song over like 3:40, I'm like, here we go. But so I wanted to talk to you about that in terms of the concept, but we'll get to that. But so just to make sure that I have all of my discography correct, you have a debut LP that was called Fear Me. You have an EP called Homecoming, and then you have the EP Flesh and Bones with 2 singles that are called Violence, which is actually like the start of this whole Section 13, the sect kind of story arc, and then you have Warfare, which is kind of the end. Is that correct?
Warfare is one piece of the end, yeah. We've also got Villain in between Flesh and Bones and Homecoming. But I like to put it in the same like list as Flesh and Bones because it happens in the middle of Flesh and Bones. Yeah, so Warfare is like one piece of the ending of the Fear Me arc. Yeah.
Okay, and I saw that was the second of 3 singles that you're going to be putting out this year. So there's still another one that's coming out here eventually. Okay, and I like how you did like the artwork where it's like you had like the left and then the right, and then you were waiting for the centerpiece. So
I'm looking at the centerpiece right now because I got it printed as a poster on the wall.
No.
if you'd like to leak it, go ahead.
No, Matt will kill me.
I'm looking forward to that though. But yeah, no. So we did Warfare, and I'll turn it over to Adam here because Adam, I've never seen a reaction from Adam like that on the channel, and especially because we came off Misanthropic, you know, months and months ago, but then we did that, and I was just like, wow, okay.
Because he said it, and I'm like, and I get for some
I was
reason.
surprised at that too.
What, that I liked it?
Yeah, because like I remember I'd watched the Miso one like before the Warfare one came out, and I'm like, I wonder how this one's gonna go.
Yeah, that's listen, I'll give anybody as many chances. You know, I'm not gonna. I mean, I've been trying to listen to Periphery for 10 years, and I still can't do it. But you know,
Same.
it's. I was excited. I thought that one showed a different side of you guys. It was still heavy as hell, but you had a chorus in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't get you guys confused, but like when I start listening to you guys, I get you and Defamed. Not confused, but just because you guys are both so like raw and heavy as hell. But yeah, no, I thought that one showed a different side than the other one, right? I mean, you had like the new metal, feel. This one's had some of that, not very much though. So I think it just fit right into my bucket perfectly.
I think that Warfare's kind of like a bit of a culmination of like our better aspects compiled into one song more or less. So, like the clean chorusy kind of stuff, even though it is a little bit different to what we have done before, it's still like a very similar feel to a couple of the songs off Flesh and Bones and, to a much lesser extent, one of the songs off Homecoming. So, like, when we wrote the chorus per se, or at least for me when I wrote the chorus, it wasn't, like, delving too far out of territory, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I'm just surprised that everybody's like, whoa, this thing has a chorus. And I'm like, we've had choruses before, what do you mean?
Well, I think a lot of people's introduction to you guys was probably the Flesh and Bones EP. Is that probably fair to say? Which was definitely your heavy.
Either that
lyrics,
or
which
either that or Witch Hunt. Either that or Witch Hunt, I reckon. A lot of people.
Or Fear Me.
Well, yeah, Fear Me to an extent, like with Oxymoron and stuff. I think Chugcore actually put that in a compilation or something ages ago. But hey, Mikey, can I have a chat a bit about the 3-track, like how we sort of went about that? Because
Go nuts.
Take it away.
Yeah, because Mikey wrote the last track in because of the importance in regards to the story, and we thought, okay, we should do this as a 3-track, and we sort of mapped it out, and the way we sort of planned it out was to go Violence, which will just represent, like, this 3-track is essentially representing us as a band. So we've got Violence, which is obviously just ignorant, heavy, no real structure in regards to the song. It's just like, it's heavy and then it's fast and then it's heavier and then it's heavier. And then this next track, we thought, okay, well, we better write something that's going to be a little more structural. We want something that's got the big anthemic sort of choruses, but with the heavier sections as well.
Okay.
And then the next song, I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it's my favorite song out of the 3-track, and it's definitely like shows our, I don't want to say softer side as much, but like, there's not even a heavy section, if that makes sense. Like, there's not a section that we can say that this is the heavy section. You know what I mean?
There's no breakdown. I remember I tweeted about it ages ago saying like that there's no breakdown in the song, and that's still correct. It's still like, it's one of those things, like, if you, like, Richard, this is probably more directed at you, but if you've listened to like Flesh and Bones and Homecoming, and you've liked songs like Deer Hunter and Dima and War, then you'll like the last song.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like the best way to put it is like, it's the best aspects of those put into a song, and then cranked up to 11. It's still heavy, but there's not specifically a breakdown in it per se.
I gotcha.
Or at least we like to think there's not a specific breakdown in it.
Cool. But go ahead.
That's so sort of that's sort of the direction we sort of wanted to take with this 3-track, three individual songs that sort of highlight us as a band, like these certain aspects of the band. And so like I said, Mikey wrote the last track first, and then he wrote Violence, and then it was about 2 weeks before we had our studio session booked, and we were like, oh, Mikey, so how are you going with track number 2? And he goes, oh, I haven't touched it yet because I thought we were all going to do it together. Now, you guys wouldn't understand, but I live in country Victoria. I live 300 kilometers away from Mikey.
Oh, wow.
So I'll put that in, I'll convert it to miles for you, so you understand.
that meme that has all like the math stuff going on in front of my face, because I don't even know the version at all.
It's about 180 miles, I think.
Yeah, 186 miles. So it's kind of awkward for me to just go over to Mikey's house after work or whatever, and so it just, long story short, it just didn't happen, and we were all sort of freaking out. We're like, holy shit, we've got a studio session in 2 weeks and track 2 hasn't even been written. And Mikey's like, oh shit, all right. And he just whipped it up like almost overnight. And he was like, here's my draft. And we were all like, oh no, this is like perfect. Let's just go with this.
Damn.
Which is like, honestly, since I joined the band in 2018, that was the first time that's ever happened, because usually Mikey will bring something up and he'll be like, okay, boys, what do we want to change? Let's discuss this. And Nick, the drummer, Matt, the guitarist, and myself, we would all chip in and sort of pitch our ideas, but we were all just like, oh no, like this is it. Like, this is what we want. So it's funny because
Pitch our ideas.
okay, all right. Let me rephrase to a more realistic explanation. We'll all fight about our ideas for about 2 weeks until Mikey goes insane, Matt gets frustrated, and I lose my mind. Nick's just happy doing his gardening, and then he just fixes the drum afterwards. So we all go crazy, we all lose our minds for a bit, and then the final result comes out, and we're all like, "Oh yeah, okay, this is sick. We're all happy now."
Yeah.
I think the reason why it took so long for Warfare to be done as well is because I had a couple of iterations previously of like the kind of idea, but they didn't really click. And then I was spending like Violence was done more or less like the same way as well. Like Violence had a really quick turnaround time because that part of it was easy. It was just like, okay, I'm just gonna write like a stupid heavy mosh song.
Yeah.
And then I really spent my time with the last song. I think the last song has been like the longest time that's taken me to actually like write and properly like put through the song to the guys. Like I think it took me like 4 months or something like that, just because I was meticulously going over it. Yeah. And then I did send through like what was my finalized version, and everyone was like dissecting it, and I'm like, this is 4 months of work that you're destroying right now. But like,
you should have done it in 4 days, and then it would have been good.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have been great.
It's just, it's one of those things where I just continuously like overthink it. And I'll be like, no, this sucks. No, this sucks. No, this needs to be perfect. Like I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with this kind of thing. And so that's why like Warfare was kind of like left by the wayside, because I was still meticulously going through that. And then we're like, oh, what's the go with track 2? And I'm like, nah. Give me 12 hours.
Yeah. So I know that you said something about when Mikey said that he does like 90% of the writing. You said,
I was just going to add, like, so what's the process, right? So how are you writing the songs? I guess do you tab them out? Do you write them in music notation, or do you just play all the instruments, or do you use fake, VSTs and stuff?
So we're currently, like, at least where I'm sitting right now is actually my studio. The back of it, like where all my speakers set up and everything is facing away from you guys, so you can't see it. But basically, like, I will demo out a song, and the easiest way to explain
Hey,
it.
Mikey,
I got you.
I just had a really good idea. Can we like redo the Friends opening with Violence?
That was what I originally wanted to do. I
But,
wanted
like,
to do
with
something like
Gloom?
Cheers or Friends.
Could you imagine like a bunch of like skeletons like playing around in a fountain or some shit while Violence is playing?
Yeah, they could all go to a coffee shop, because that's where Sherlock Bones brought Clara, which I'm going to ask you about that, because I thought that was a very interesting response to being shot in the back. But so I went through all the lore here, and I'll let you guys, I want to try to see what I can get correct here, and you can correct me where I go astray. So I have like a bunch of notes here, but I'm going to try to do it off of memory, because if I read all this, we'll be here till 2 o'clock your time. So, all right. So basically, what it is that it's Section 13, which is like a government organization that deals with a secret government organization that deals with like supernatural stuff, and the main character is Julian Hardy, Jay, and he's part of the Echo Squad, but also part of the Coffin Crew, which is like the inner circle of the Echo Squad. And then from there, he has a brother named Ethan, and they both have telekinetic abilities. But Jay can also has a skin regeneration. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the best way to describe it is like Wolverine and
it turns into like metal. Yeah.
Like Deadpool. No, just like Deadpool, like how they have like the regenerative tissue kind of thing. Yeah, so they have that. Like Ethan also has it, but it's just to a much lesser extent. Okay. And that's where the name like the rodent / like runt, etc. comes from, because he kind of like got that runtish gene that doesn't fully he doesn't fully develop that, but he on the offside he has much more powerful telekinetic abilities than Jay. Right. So Jay's kind of like the middle ground. Ethan has more telekinesis, but he's more prone to dying, pretty much.
Okay.
This reminds me of the whole Coheed and Cambria saga.
I've gotten that so many times.
It's like, so I'm a huge Coheed guy, and this, like, it's just bringing me back.
Yeah, because
like trying to figure it all out, because it's not. And again, because I haven't gone back and listened to your old stuff because of the fact that we get requests, so we try not to over listen to stuff. So
don't take those requests.
I know I'm actually I want to go back and just listen to it, but it's your songs aren't sequential to the story. They kind of hop around, right?
Well, yeah, a little bit. I try to keep them as in line as possible, especially like with releases. Flesh and Bones, I did a really good job of that. With the exception of Villain jumping in the middle, but that's because Villain was like a single beforehand, so there wasn't really much of a say in it.
Yeah.
But Fear Me jumps around a little bit, and Homecoming definitely like jumps around a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, that was just because of how the structure of the EP turned out, and the whole kind of like process of how that EP turned out is basically what led it to everything being jumbled around a little bit. I was still kind of like developing the story, or at least the arc properly at that point too. So like there was going to be like at the start there was going to be mishaps, but by the time we reached Flesh and Bones, it's like cool, like everything is pretty much going to be sequential now. And then we got to Violence, and I'm like, this is going at the start.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But okay, so Ethan is his brother, and then and then Jay has a girlfriend named Rachel who is killed, and they think that. So before that, though, well, not before that. After that, he brings Sherlock Bones in, who he thinks is like a detective, helps him out. But also Jay has the Gloom, which in the story at first they think it's kind of like an STD kind of, but like for like the spiritual realm kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And then from there, they think that this person named Stephanie was involved with killing Rachel. So Sherlock Bones kills her, and then
Jay kills her by accident. But yeah.
Oh, Jay does.
No, sorry, not by accident. Sorry, not by accident. He like this is where like some of the parts in Fear Me get a little bit confusing.
Okay.
Jay originally went to Stephanie.
Oh, Jay did.
To apprehend her. Yeah, to apprehend her. Sherlock is still there. Sherlock and or slash the Gloom are still there, and like that's what's kind of covered in Oxy a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
But like he didn't go there with the original intent to kill her, which is what I very poorly explained in Oxymoron. But yeah, like things escalate, and he does end up killing her.
Because that was gonna be one of my questions. Because I remembered it was said that in the story it said that Jay was an outlaw, and I was like, well, why is he an outlaw? I thought that Sherlock killed Stephanie, but okay, that clears that question. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then they kill her, but then they think that there is another person, Emily Scarlett, who is the VP of the sect, who they think is involved with the killing of Rachel, and then they confront her, but then they let her off the hook because the daughter comes in, and then they say it's this guy Stuart Thatcher, and then Jay turns himself in, and then Stuart confronts him, and Stuart ultimately gets killed by, let me find my notes here. He hits him with his hand scythe. He guts him. He takes a sheet from a laundry basket that's passing by. They put it over his neck. They drag him to the cell. They tie him around the bedpost and push him out the window. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, got all those details.
That's all, Jay. Yeah.
Okay.
The only bit you missed in between was that like was like in between Sherlock, who's in control of Jay at that point.
Right, okay.
Goes off and kills the rest of Echo Squad. And what isn't covered in Fear Me is that he actually has assistance from the rest of like the Coffin Crew members at that point as well. Specifically Yuri, who's like our drummer Nick's character.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, and then Scarlett, like it wasn't just like the daughter thing coming in that stops Jay from killing Scarlett. It's more so just like he's also tired and broken at that point.
Okay.
And when he finds out that's like, you play it smart kind of thing. Like he knows that Scarlett was just kind of like her hand was kind of being forced in that whole situation, whereas that wasn't the situation with Echo Squad. They very much knew what was going on.
Okay.
And they were happy to do that. And so that's why Jay is like a lot more resistant. In the lore itself, Jay and Scarlett, like it's a much bigger thing, like when or at least in the lore, you find out that Jay and Scarlett have like a really terrible back and forth relationship in the aspect that like they just do not get on as from like boss to employer kind of thing, but they tolerate each other. So it's a much bigger impact that Jay actually doesn't kill Scarlet and allows himself to be captured, because he knows at that point that, like, well, if whoever is trying to actually pull the strings is going to come get me, they're going to come get me at a place where they'll know where I'll be. So it's easier to do it with all this different protection, etc., around me in the facility that he goes and gets arrested at.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
and that's where Thatcher comes in. Yeah.
Okay. So does their relationship also have to do with? Because I think that I read that Ethan used to have a relationship with Emily Scarlet. She goes by Scarlet, though. Yep. That's kind of her
She
name.
does go by Scarlet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ethan and Scarlet used to have a relationship as well.
Honestly, that wouldn't have worked in her favor.
Okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked in her favor.
Well, no, I'm saying that their bad relationship.
Oh, actually, yeah, no, maybe it does, but yeah, like I think Jay would have also been aware of the fact that Scarlett did have a relationship with Ethan at some stage, so it probably would have played into it as well. But it's more so the fact that like they've never gotten on, which has never really been delved into the lore too much. But like, actually, no, it has a little bit, because we used to have live samples. And there was a bit, like, because what we originally, or at least when I got to the end of Witch Hunt, what was originally planned was that Scarlet dies, but she doesn't. She just goes into a coma. Mm-hmm. And we just wanted to play it off as that she died. That's why she's on the cover with a bandage around her head and stuff like that. But yeah, like during one of the live samples, we used to have like Sherlock and Jay talking to each other through their therapist. And just as like a little like fun thing that we used to do live, just to differentiate the normal like "how's it going, everybody?" thing that every other band does. Yeah. But yeah, like it was just like a cool little thing that we experimented with to try and bring more of the lore to the people. And then before Witch Hunt, we used to put that like Scarlet actually lived, so the point of playing Witch Hunt is kind of redundant. And like the therapist tells Jay and Sherlock, "Oh, like she just came out of a coma the other day," and Jay's immediate response is, "Well, can we put her back in?" Like that's the kind of relationship that they have. It's not a good one, but he does it for the benefit of both himself and like the fact that he's just tired and etc. Like he just can't be fucked. Like he knows that she's not the real enemy in this kind of situation. She's just being forced. So
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so I think that's the end of
Fear Me.
Yeah, Fear Me. Yeah. So okay. So then Homecoming. Ethan comes back. And he's asked by Jay to go retrieve Rachel from the rabbit hole, which is hell. No. Okay.
No.
You're wrong.
Okay. Well, see, this is why I'm asking
you're
questions.
wrong.
You are wrong.
Okay. You are wrong.
I'm trying.
No. So Ethan takes it upon himself to go find Rachel in the rabbit hole.
Oh, okay.
And it's not actually Jay that talks to him in Brother. It's Sherlock.
Okay, so it's Sherlock. Okay, so then, okay, so I'm trying to remember because Ethan ends up killing Scarlet, correct?
Killing. At that point, it was killing, but she's back now. So
okay, so then that's when he ends up killing himself.
Yeah.
When he thinks that when he's killed. Okay, so then. Oh my god, it's just like I'm trying to remember. It's like information overload.
So much. There is so much.
There's a lot. I'm like,
I'm uber impressed.
Yeah,
that you've gotten this far.
Yeah, but so I know. So
me too.
just like I'll quickly like kind of just do like the bullet points from what I can remember. So basically, what ends up happening is this person named Clara ends up trying to tail Sherlock to this old Victorian home with Sal and Moses, and then Clara shoots him in the back. And then I gotta ask you, why does he bring her out for I mean, that wouldn't exactly be my first response if like of a girl who she could be attractive, but if she shot me in the back, I mean, I'm not gonna be like, hey, we'll get some coffee. I mean, I would be I'd be a little.
It's a bit of a red flag, isn't it?
I mean, they're both full of red flags. What do you think?
It's true.
No, so the reason why Sherlock doesn't kill her is because he remembers her from the oxymoron incident. So
Right, okay.
Clara was one of the survivors,
Right.
or the witnesses from the oxymoron incident. And as an inside bit for y'all,
Oh boy.
I'm actually like reworking Fear Me just for my own personal pleasure and everything like that, and it explains a lot of that story a lot more in depth.
Yeah.
And like in the I have little story bits in between. It actually explains that Sherlock stops Jay and or the Gloom from killing Clara at the end of the oxymoron incident as well, because one of the other friends gets accidentally shot, and that like is what escalates that whole situation. And then like Jay kills Stephanie and etc. And then he goes to kill Clara, who's like the last witness, because he's like, well, shit, I can't leave a witness. And Sherlock actually stops him because he's like, well, she's innocent in this situation,
Yeah.
etc. Like that kind of thing. Also, she's hot as fuck. Like he literally says that in like an underline and like just before one of the breakdowns or but just before one of the bridges. So like that kind of like attraction is there straight from the get-go with Oxy. But that's why he doesn't kill her in Flesh and Bones at that point, because like he remembers who she is and he remembers like all the shit that happened and like why she's doing it, and he understands that this is why she's come back to like shoot him in the back.
Okay. I'm only laughing
Yeah.
because somebody in our Twitch chat.
Yeah,
Just
I
said-
saw that.
You did see that? I banned him. I'm like, I was still listening to you.
Somebody in our Twitch chat said the bald guy effed my mom, and I thought that was just hilarious.
Oi, Mikey, tell them about the time you met Johnny Sins.
I did. I met Johnny Sins and it was brilliant. He's
What
actually
did
a
he
lot
say
shorter
to
than
you?
what I thought he would be. Oh, he said, I like your haircut.
Who says that?
Man, I love your work.
Oh my god. Oh
man.
Okay. But anyway.
Sorry, that was a bit of a side.
Yeah, that was a bit of
That's
a sign,
okay.
but that
That's okay.
I was dying. I was like trying not to laugh because you were explaining a lot of the plot, the plot that I was curious about. But all right, so then eventually from there, Jay, this is years later. Jay pretty much says the devil isn't as black as he is painted, which essentially is like a trigger word, which not like a sleeper cell, but it enacts something for the sect to go kill Clara and Alex. And no, okay, all right, go ahead.
No, so the
You're
trigger
wrong.
word, the trigger word, which comes from Shakespeare, is it Shakespeare or Dante? It's one of the two. The trigger word is like, have you guys ever played like Black Ops?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I've played it.
Yeah.
You know, like what are the numbers, Mason? Like that
Okay.
kind of thing, and
Yeah.
how like it's kind of like that. So it's a what's the term? Not subconscious, subliminal message that
okay.
kind of like overrides Sherlock to go
Okay.
kill Clark.
Hmm.
That gets enacted by the sect. So in the
I
downtime
gotcha.
in the downtime when Jay isn't being possessed by Sherlock, which is a very rare occasion, he kind of like comes up with this plan. Because like
Yeah.
at this point, even though Sherlock and Jay do share the same mind per se, they don't necessarily share each other's thoughts. So Jay can kind of like go and think his own thing,
Mm-hmm.
and Sherlock won't always necessarily know about it. So that's how that kind of plan comes into act. And then when Sherlock like lapses out of being in possession of Jay's body, that's when Jay kind of like comes up with this plan and etc.
Okay.
So the devil is as black as he is painted is like a subliminal message thing, kind of gets subliminally messaged, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Yeah, over the course of like over the year course of Flesh and Bones.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. So then that
I need a
makes-
graphic novel.
Yeah.
That's what
so,
I need.
Yeah, right. So then that makes.
Yeah, I can see the Netflix comment in the chat.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was from Galactic Criminal. So you know who Galactic Criminal is, I'm sure, from YouTube, the reaction channel. I'm sure you. Yeah.
I've seen the name around. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but okay. So from there, Sherlock kills both Clara and Alex, and then Jay and Sal and Moses pick Sherlock up, and then they reveal to him that they know that it was Sherlock who actually killed Rachel, but then we
That's-
also
this
find
is where
out
the
that
mind fucking
right. So then we also
intensifies.
yes, and then you figure out that
Yeah.
that the Gloom is really Sherlock, but it's really
Yep.
Jay. I mean, I read that and I was just
Yeah.
like, holy shit! This is like This is like what's that movie?
It's a bit of
M.
a
Night Shyamalan.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth
Exactly.
Sense.
Yeah.
I can read your mind,
Yeah.
man.
There you go.
There we go.
It's almost like a Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Dab on us. Yeah.
Come on,
But
Yeah, that's where like it can either get Paul's done. It's where it can either get really confusing.
Okay.
Well, I mean, does
yeah, right.
get really confusing. But yeah, so how that whole process worked is the Gloom itself is a very even though it is a very violent and misanthropic entity,
Okay.
it's also a very smart entity.
Yes.
So when the Gloom does originally come to Jay in, I think it's Coffin Bearer in Fear Me, he's come out before, which is where Sherlock, or the Gloom per se, killed Rachel.
Okay.
So when Jay blacks out, and specifically, if you want to pinpoint it in the song, it's when Danny, or the guest vocal spot in Jay, comes in. That's when, the Gloom takes over and kills Rachel.
Gotcha.
Right. So in Coffin Bearer, Jay's pretty suicidal at that point, and
Okay.
he's tried multiple times to commit seppuku, for lack of a better term.
Mhm.
And the Gloom knows that okay, this dude's just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. So the Gloom itself, being the ethereal and spiritual entity that it is, creates Sherlock, which is the extra side piece in Fear Me that doesn't really get talked about.
Okay.
From there, the Gloom slowly develops more and more over time as the tracks go on. That's where Mud comes in, etc.
Right.
And that's where Brother comes in as well, because that's when the Gloom is fully formed and has made its own viable identity. It's still working on itself and everything, but it's still its own viable identity.
Okay.
And that's where Sherlock, that's where the secondary placeholder that the Gloom makes kind of takes over. So the reason why the Gloom or Sherlock makes that secondary placeholder character is so that Jay's just not constantly thinking that there's a voice talking to himself in his head. There's something there that he can actually, at least physically from his end, see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So by the time Flesh and Bones rolls around, the best way to put it is Jay and Sherlock still have that relationship now that they have the fully shared mind, I guess, for lack of a better term. But when Sherlock's in control, he can see Jay as an apparition. When Jay's in control, he can see Sherlock as an apparition. But Jay's very much more aware now of the fact that Sherlock is the Gloom. He just holds off from knowing that he knows pretty much.
So then I'll move off. I'll move off the lore with one more question. So, with
Sure.
what I got out of the promotional material that you had leading up to Warfare, because I went back and I saw that. So is Sherlock actually this character King Baffico?
Almost.
Oh,
so
God. See, I'm so close.
no, you're so close. It's one of those things the Warfare rollout for the lore and everything was done super quickly, and I'm just gonna place everything in text, and if people misunderstand stuff, then I'm happy to help them, because it is a lot, and it does it does confuse a lot of the previous plots. So
Okay.
the Gloom entity itself, as I said, is a very old but it's a very smart entity as well.
Right.
So they haven't actually had any proper recordings of a Gloom since biblical times. There have been Glooms that have come and gone over the thousands of years, and have been since Jesus Christ was around, but they haven't been properly, fully recorded and etc. So at this point, people have forgotten that the Gloom itself is actually an entity or a demon, and not just something that comes out of supernatural people if they start doing bad things, which is my kind of little way of retconning that portion of it, because I was just kind of that part sucks. It doesn't really make sense. It would be cooler to do all this backstory for the Glooms. So Sherlock isn't the only Gloom. Sherlock himself is a reincarnation of I'm just gonna call him Nega Sherlock.
Okay.
Anime things. Who was like a knight for the very first Gloom, which is King Baffico, back in biblical times, who used to reign over that land, or the Middle Eastern realm, like, which is, where Jesus Christ is from, and etc., like where Jericho is, and etc. So it's all very biblical in that sense. So he was like the top commanding lieutenant at that time, and so when Sherlock, like Nega Sherlock, kind of goes through like the same process as Flesh and Bones, where like at the start he's like super misanthropic, he's super angry, like he's the most like vicious warlord in the land. That's why he's number one. And so, but after a certain amount of time, like he starts to grow a conscience, like what he does in Flesh and Bones after he meets Clara. And so that whole cycle kind of rinse repeats. And once the king realizes that like Sherlock is kind of like losing his way, he's starting to be more conscious of like what's going on around him and not just killing shit or pillaging shit. Then he kills him off and buries him and locks him away, so that the only chance that he has to come back is if he has a chosen vessel per se. So the only way that Sherlock can fully reincarnate is through this chosen vessel that gets chosen for him at any random particular point in time, which just happens to be Jay.
Interesting.
Which doesn't go to plan. When Jay decides to get that seal put on him, that stops Sherlock from being able to control him. So it's kind of like a backfire, if that makes sense. Like the chosen vessel didn't really like being chosen, if that makes sense. So that's where like the kind of the backstory for Sherlock comes from, and we just thought it would be like a cool little thing because it was a great way to introduce Baffico as well, because I've been wanting to introduce Baffico for a while. But like it was the only way that kind of made sense was to retcon like that, like it's just a disease that's formed its own kind of conscious and self-being. Like if it makes sense now that like that Sherlock is reincarnated through Jay, and Sherlock was originally meant to fully take control over Jay.
So when you have new members join the band like Paul over here, do they have to take like a 25 question test? Like, do they have to know what's going on, or what's? I mean, like, because Paul, did you know about all this kind of lore before you joined the band, or were you just kind of like, I just play the strings, I'm the caveman?
Well, so kind of a funny story. I've known Mikey since just before so 2016 was when I met him, just before he started actually writing with Gloom. So I've been friends with Mikey for a little while now, and I've been a fan of the band since the beginning. I was their 26th like on Facebook.
Wow.
Nice. So I've been,
which is 2 of 13. So this is our favorite number.
Yeah, there you go.
So I've sort of I've followed the story since the beginning. But yeah, Mikey and I have had discussions about where it's going to go and what's happened and all the ins and outs. Like there's been times where I've finished work and I've driven to Mikey's house, so I'll get to his house at like 8 o'clock at the night, and then we'll be talking until 6 in the morning just about story stuff.
Wow.
But to answer your question, yes, there is an exam. It is 48 questions, and the pass rate is 86%. And if you don't get above 86, it's just like goodbye, no second chances.
And after the first question, it says you've got 47 to go.
Yep.
So you don't know how many questions there is going into it. Oh man, I love that.
But
I love that.
But yeah. So that's sort of So I've sort of been following the band since the beginning, and so yeah, I've sort of known the ins and outs of the story since then, and obviously now joining the band and becoming more and more closer friends with Mikey and the boys. The discussions are still to this day, even for like future releases and stuff. It's Mikey writes up like a bit of a story and on a doc and sends it to the band chat, and he says, "Boys, talk like read this and learn it.
Nobody does.
That's awesome. I dig it because like I knew that you guys were a concept band, but I never really got too into it. But then when we were doing this interview, I was like, all right, I gotta dive in. I gotta get into the minds of these. I gotta learn this stuff.
He was literally like crouched in the corner on his cell phone while we're sitting over here, filming playthrough videos. He's over here like taking notes and
I'm
stuff.
not kidding, man. I got one side.
Oh
two
man,
side,
that's sick.
That's awesome.
We appreciate the shit out of that, man. That's sick.
Yeah, I'm like, give me the cliff notes, man. Let's go.
I've got to update it as well.
Yeah, I wanted to.
I've got to update that document. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I wanted to really get into it because at first, because a lot of concept albums are like, all right, like I get it, but I was like, all right, let's see, and then I started to get into it. I wasn't at first. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this like for the interview, and then I got into it. Like, okay, like I'm actually into this shit. So like, yeah.
Oh, so many people joke about like, oh, can't wait for the Netflix series. Man, I want a Netflix series.
I want a Netflix series.
That'd be dope. That'd be awesome.
I mean, seriously though. I mean, you probably. I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, it really is. Like, because I love TV show. I love all that. I went to school for writing. Like, I love that kind of shit. So.
I love to be able to do like a Netflix series and stuff like that as well because A, it actually fucking explains the story properly.
Right.
Yeah.
But B, like it actually kind of gets to show off the characters.
Well, yeah.
A lot more for what they are. Like Sherlock is very much down like the same kind of vein as like Deadpool crossed with like a bit of Homelander from The Boys. If you guys have seen The Boys,
No,
I haven't.
But he's just got. Oh, watch it! It's so good. Anyway, Amazon Prime, give us that series for that plug. Anyway,
yeah, I'll take Amazon Prime.
My girlfriend just puts on Desperate Housewives, and that's what I'm subjected to every night. But yeah, I know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with that.
I would love a Gloom Desperate Housewives.
Oh my
god,
that would actually be really cool.
but yeah, like everyone, being able to like explore those characters a lot more through like visuals and etc. would be a lot better.
Well, I was gonna mention this, and maybe you've thought about it because I mean I wouldn't be surprised if.
Is this what we talked about before we got on?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how cool would it be like if you guys, because I know there's 4 of you in the band. What if each of you guys like took on a character or two on social media and like interacted with each other like on Twitter or something like that? I think that'd be kind of interesting. Like just another way to.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Just to let you know, we've patented that, so we will.
Sherlock might already have a Twitter account. You don't know.
He might be watching you.
He's the big brother. He's watching over all of
He's watching you.
Been on top of it.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say that every band member should have characters, and I'm like, they already do.
No, they already do.
Yeah.
Which I was at. Well, listen, we could do like an 18-hour podcast on this because from the story there was.
We'll have to go round 2.
Yeah, we'll have to because there was a couple characters mentioned that I didn't see reappear anywhere in the lore. So I don't know if they're coming back or if they just wasn't in that document exactly. Because there was
if it's characters based off previous members, they are still around. They're just not doing that much.
Okay, because speaking of former members, we've actually met one of your former members, who I didn't even know was one of your members before that.
Who?
Martin. You remember Martin when we went?
True, because of the dealer tour in America.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Because what happened was that this was back in March. Okay, so back in March, but so we had Aiden on a song, and Martin did like his video bit for
in the parking lot out of the RV.
So we were looking for Martin because they thought that he was off with a woman. So we were trying to look for him all night. So that was that's how we met Martin.
Yep.
But yeah.
Sure.
Oh no.
Well, we didn't have to look. We knew where Martin was. He was in the RV. Martin was busy.
Yeah, he was busy.
Taking care of the local culture.
He was reading the lore for the Gloom. He was still keeping up with the story.
He's got to play catch up for when he gets back.
Is he going to be rejoining the band?
Nah, not at this point. No, we're happy as a 4-piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Four-piece for us is just sort of what we need. Like, in regards to live, we've tracked another rhythm guitar, so that gets played over the samples. Although, you know, it is still, I guess, a live guitar, but just sampled. But no, we're pretty happy as a four-piece at the moment. Just logistically, it works out better for us, and
It does, yeah.
Yeah, because I know that he's a designer and stuff, so I didn't know if you know, he obviously probably contributed quite a bit to the like the assets for the band and stuff like that. So that was, but you guys seem to be handling that just fine without him. But so
That's me.
That's you, yeah. What don't you do, Mikey? What don't you do? You know what I mean? You're freaking you write not only the lyrics but the story. I mean, like what the hell, man?
I don't know, and
Cater to anyone's needs.
do you find in, you know, other bands that you know, spend a lot of time with, or even, you know, hang with, that it's primarily one person doing a lot of the vision? Do you see it's more
vision
of
vision is a strong, like, I think vision is a strong word. I think that, like, a lot of bands, or at least that we're friends with, will have one sole songwriter. They won't necessarily do the lyrics, but like that's when the vocalist comes in and does his own lyrics and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that a lot of bands still like run off the one instrumentalist and then vocalist does like all the vocals kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because of like how bands work today.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's cool when bands do come together and all write something together, like those old bands did in the 80s and 90s. But it's, like, I mean, especially right now, it's just not feasible.
Right.
Like,
right.
Sorry, not feasible. It's just not done because everybody has a home recording set up and they can just demo out songs and everything.
Right.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so I know that we got to get you guys out of here shortly. I just wanted to end it on this. So what we do on Twitch, you know, we do like, you know, live reactions, you know, we do all that. But what we started doing is I kind of did like I don't know if you guys are familiar with the March Madness basketball tournament here in the States, but there's like
right.
Okay, so there's like this big tournament that happens, but for this round, we did like a kind of like a new metal, kind of new core kind of bracket, and you guys are in it. You guys are in it. So basically, what happens is that the winning band, I buy merch from that band and do a giveaway. So we did for the last one, we did Envisions, and they won.
Well, you did the metalcore madness.
I did metalcore, yeah. So
how many bands did it start as?
Well, that one was
32.
That one was 64. So I trimmed this one down to 32.
Yeah.
So I'm like 64. I'll just take me.
So each time he picks how do you pick the songs?
How do I? So the way I pick the songs, I like. So like I would put in. Oh, you all right? You can't go to work now. You'd be on the podcast all day. But no. But so basically. So the way that I pick the songs is I go into YouTube, I type in like the Gloom in the Corner band just to make sure I don't get any like weird other YouTube videos, and then I sort it by view count, and then I see the most popular ones, and I go down and I say, okay, what song is the most popular that I haven't heard? So you guys in the first round have Survivor's Guilt going up against Papa Roach, Between Angels and Insects. So,
that's not even a question. I mean, why even listen to that? Just move them.
You think Gloom in the Corner will win
against Papa Roach?
Well, I don't know. These guys seem to have a different reaction.
Cut my contest into pieces.
So listen, I got a funny story about Papa Roach. So I was in about 2004. Or 2003, I was in a band called Roxy Monoxide. It was a pop-punk band. So I was filling in on bass. And, yeah, so we had a show in Rhode Island in the U.S., so it's about a few hours away. And Papa Roach was playing in the club next door. So this one venue has two clubs. We were in the small one, and then they were in the big one. And they ended up, their tour bus was right behind our shitty van with the trailer. So he's like, hey, you know, who are you guys? Because we were in a shitty trailer. And he's like, oh, come and hang out with us. So we hung out with him. Long story short, he came and saw our pop-punk set. We got on the guest list, and I ended up getting hammered with him in their tour bus and singing happy birthday to his mom.
That's sick.
Dude,
That's mad.
Yeah. So we got guest listed. We were right on stage, like next to the stage and shit when they were playing and stuff. So Cool dudes. I mean, they're probably what in their mid-40s now.
Yeah, they're older than you, which is very hard to believe. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for doing this. I wanted to dive into a little bit. We'll have to have you back on again because
Yes, definitely.
there's a ton of other questions I have for you, but God damn it, I mean, like this time difference is absurd, and I appreciate you because for those of you watching, they're doing this at like 9:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning now. Right? Is it 10? I can't do the math in my
It's
head.
10:55.
Just about 10:55.
Okay.
On Sunday, but it's cool because like I get up at a normal time and Mikey gets up at like 1 o'clock and every day.
Well, he has to write this freaking story. You know, he's got it. He can't sleep. He has to take the Michael Jackson pills to stay awake. But
No.
but you
Just to clarify, no.
Escobar. I take Pablo Escobar's fun stuff to keep myself awake.
Oh, okay. But listen, guys, I appreciate you doing this. We'll definitely have some more reactions to you guys' stuff, especially the new track. We'll have to do Violence as well because we haven't heard that. But we appreciate you guys, checking out the videos and stuff like that. That's super cool that you did. And
Well, thank you for doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Thanks.
Yeah, the goal of it is to, hopefully some people will find you guys that haven't, and we don't have like a huge fund, but we have about 8,200 subs, so it's not super small, but it's not huge. So maybe you can send our royalty check whenever. And on that note, we'll let you guys get out of here. We'll let you go to work, Mikey. And I don't know how you do a day job on top of being Stephen King and Fibonacci or all that stuff, but
The entire Gloom lore is just written on the notes in my phone. That's how.
You probably do it at work.
At work,
yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Again, thank you so much for doing
guys.
this, and we look forward.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you
we
for
look
having
forward.
us.
Yeah, we look forward to the third single. I know you want to leak the date for the third single. Go ahead.
We don't even know it yet.
Okay. There is one thing that I can say, that we are aiming for it to be on Jay's birthday canonically in the lore.
Oh, so
if you can find that
hold on
somewhere,
hold on
but I'm pretty sure it's not it. If it's on the
November 13th.
November 13th.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck! Dang it!
Yeah. Way to study for the test, buddy. Give me 5.
Yeah, see?
Shit! I completely forgot that I put it in the lore.
Congratulations, man. You're now Gloom's new bassist.
I'll be in the band, but you can just backtrack me though.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, man. You ever hear him play a guitar?
But awesome. All right, well, see, I did my research, so there you go.
Up at work now and kill me.
No, don't worry about it. No one is gonna watch this anyway, so you're good.
People will. A lot of people are gonna watch.
I'm just
this.
kidding.
You guys are screwed. But
well, look, people will figure it out sooner or later. So, well, look, man, thanks for having us. But hit us up whenever. I'd be keen to do this again for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I've made Mikey's body temperature go down to 83. So
there's more smoke in the background there.
Yeah.
He's steaming.
Yeah, so don't listen, man. I did my research. Don't challenge me like that again, because I will have the answer.
Oh.
I just completely forgot that I actually did put it in the section document. So
What's
fucking
funny is when you
I
said,
blamed myself.
oh man, you said, what is his birthday, and I'm like, there's Jay with a date right here, and I'm going, I think he's got it. He's got the fucking birthday.
But look, it's all good. It's not a real Gloom podcast if we don't accidentally leak some information that's confidential. Last time, Matt
has already
Matt's
leaked
done
the name
it.
before. When Violence fucking came out in April, and I'm like, dog, what are you doing?
Yeah, we wanted to keep the 3-track completely secret, and Matt did a website interview or something, and he just gave out every information. We're just dude, what?
Well, if you want, I know that you guys are on a label. If they want to send us a small check for $1 million, we will not. We'll edit that part out of the podcast. But
no.
Do you want that in?
About
you want that in American or
$13.11.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we only take metalcore money, so cut it in half.
Yeah.
We only need 500,000.
Yeah, but But all right. Well, on that note, we got some information. Look at that. See, look at that. I'm a journalist. I have a degree in journalism, and now it's paid off.
Self-proclaimed journalist.
Well, I have a degree, so it makes me one. But all right. Before we leak any more information, we'll let you guys get out of here, and we'll let Mikey get to work, and we'll let Paul. I don't know. He's got a lot.
He's got to go. He's got to go style that mustache, man. Get those handlebars up.
Look, man, I'm just gonna go get some KFC. That's like my only goal for the day, to be honest.
Oh man.
Yeah, brother.
like I got all my guitars here. I got my camper. I'm just gonna like play some bass and guitar, and then just eat some KFC, and then that's my Sunday sorted.
Shit, man, that is a good day right there.
I love it. But all right, guys, thank you.
I've got a bull. I'm meant to be at work right now.
Well, if you didn't leak the information, you could have got out of here sooner, so it's your own fault. But
I fucked myself.
Oh man! All right, Mikey, thank you so much, dude.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yep.
Peace.
No, you don't have to. Okay, yeah, you stopped the recording. What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to today's podcast. I want to thank you so much. As you'll see on the screen, we have links to all of our social media accounts, Patreon and Twitch, and also we have a brand new song out titled Reticent, where you can listen to that anywhere you listen to music. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you go to all those links. Make sure you follow us. Follow us on Twitch. Hit up the Patreon where tiers start as low as $2. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.